Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, where we specialize in bringing you the creepiest and most unsettling stories that will make your skin crawl. Today we're delving into a collection of scary tales that are sure to haunt your dreams. Are you ready to dive into some bone-chilling urban legends that have been keeping people up at night for generations? Well, buckle up because we're about to take a terrifying journey together. So, let's go!
It was snowing bitterly, the cold biting through the air as a car crept along the icy highway. The car finally came to a halt outside the town morgue, its tires crunching over the frosty ground. As soon as the car stopped, both front doors swung open, and a man and a woman, clearly distressed, hurried out and raced inside. Inside, an inspector was already present, along with the morgue's in-charge, who was smoking a beady with a dazed look in his eyes. The pungent smell of tobacco mixing with the antiseptic scent of the morgue. "Is your only son dead? Come, I will show you the body," said the in-charge insensitively, his tone cold and detached. "Are you mad? How can you talk like that? His child just died," the inspector reprimanded sharply. "Sir, someone dies here every day. Why should I care about one more?" The in-charge responded indifferently. "Move aside, you heartless fool," the inspector barked, then turned to the grieving parents. "I am sorry. Please come with me." The inspector led them to a corpse covered with a white sheet, laid out on a metal table under harsh fluorescent lights. The room was silent except for the faint hum of the lights and the muffled sobs of the grieving mother, Arcana. "You said the hospital, and now you bring us here to see a dead body." Arcana cried out, her voice breaking. Her husband Umesh tried to console her. "Arcana, we are here to identify him. They just need us to confirm." As the sheet was pulled back, revealing the lifeless face of their son, Vikram, Arcana screamed, "Vikram!" The sight of their young son's body, cold and lifeless, was too much to bear. Umesh, overcome with grief and rage, lunged at the inspector, gripping his collar and slamming him against the wall. "Tell me what happened to my son. Speak, or I'll have your uniform stripped right here." Inspector Kabir, usually calm and composed, responded with equal fury. "Umesh Saxena, watch your words. I'm not some dog to be scared by your threats. Your son's body was found behind Victoria Hostel. My son went there to study and came back a corpse. What's happening there?" Umesh shouted, his voice shaking with a mix of anger and despair. "Death, it's a death trap. This isn't the first body from that hostel. Many have died, but the mystery remains unsolved. Those who tried to solve it only met with death," Kabir said grimly. "Shut your mouth," Umesh shouted, but the morgue in charge, unaffected, continued. "I promise to solve this no matter who is behind it. You're young and enthusiastic. Try it," the in-charge mocked, leaving the room with a dismissive laugh. Determined to uncover the truth, Kabir decided to investigate further. The next day, he arrived at Victoria Hostel disguised as a college student. The hostel stood eerily at the edge of a hill, near a deep, dark ravine. It looked abandoned, its windows boarded up and its paint peeling, giving off an aura of desolation. As he approached, a watchman stopped him. "Where are you going, son?" the watchman asked, his voice gravelly. "To take admission," Kabir replied. "Come at night. There's no work here during the day," the watchman said mysteriously. "What? Why?" "Just come at night," the watchman insisted and walked away without further explanation. Kabir waited outside the hostel all day, observing its eerie stillness. As night fell, the deserted building suddenly lit up, shadows moving behind the windows, creating a strange contrast to the daytime stillness. The same watchman now stood at the gate. "Come inside if you want admission," he said. Following him to the reception, Kabir saw a stout man with thick glasses sitting there. Without a word, the warden handed Kabir a form and the key to room 307, pointing him towards a rule board. Reading the rules, Kabir felt a chill. No talking to anyone. Don't enter others' rooms. Stay inside after dark. The warden and the watchman had vanished by the time he turned around, leaving him alone in the dimly lit reception area. Kabir found his room and began to settle in when a loud scream echoed through the corridor. He rushed out but found no one. The corridor lights flickered, casting eerie shadows. Despite the scream, no doors opened. Desperate, he knocked on doors, but no one responded. Finally, he forced one open to find a burnt skeleton inside, its skull half melted and the room reeking of charred flesh. Suddenly, the entire hostel seemed to be on fire. Flames licked at the walls and smoke filled the air. Screams for help came from behind the locked doors. Kabir tried to open one, but flames leaped out, setting his clothes on fire. He rolled down the stairs, extinguishing the flames but injuring himself in the process. He saw the watchman standing motionless, staring at the fire. "Uncle, what's happening? How did this fire start? Call for help." "It's too late, son. This fire burns every night," the watchman replied, turning to reveal his own burnt face, the skin charred and peeling. The dead don't need a doctor. Kabir was horrified. What do you mean? The watchman grabbed Kabir by the neck, pushing him against the wall. Corpses began emerging from the rooms, their burnt and decaying bodies slowly advancing towards him. Why are you doing this? I haven't harmed anyone, Kabir pleaded, struggling to break free. You killed a child yesterday. Why would I spare you? The watchman hissed. 4 years ago, there was only one Victoria hostel. A new hostel opened, taking the same name. To eliminate competition, they locked us inside and set it on fire. We all died. Now anyone who comes here at night meets the same fate. As the corpses closed in, Kabir realized his fate was sealed. The horrors of Victoria Hostel would claim yet another victim, and its deadly mystery would remain unsolved. The last thing he saw was the watchman's charred face, grinning wickedly as the flames consumed him. Kabir's mind raced as the burnt corpses closed in, their lifeless eyes fixed on him. His heart pounded, but his instincts kicked in. He had to find a way out. The hostel was eerily silent, the air thick with tension. They made their way to room 307, where Kabir had experienced the horrors the previous night. The room was still and cold, the burnt remnants of its former occupant a grim reminder of the past. As they continued deeper into the hostel, they could hear faint whispers and footsteps behind them. The priest's chants grew louder, filling the corridors with a sense of hope and protection. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the temperature dropped sharply. The spirits were coming. Stay close, Kabir whispered, gripping his flashlight tightly. They reached the main hall, where the watchman and the warden had confronted him before. The shadows began to move, and the burnt corpses emerged from the darkness, their hollow eyes fixed on the intruders. Show yourselves, Umesh shouted, his voice echoing through the hall. We are here to end this curse. The spirits hesitated, their forms flickering. The priest stepped forward, holding a cross aloft. In the name of the holy, I command you to rest in peace. A powerful energy surged through the room, and the spirits screamed in anguish. The shadows twisted and contorted, and the corpses began to disintegrate, turning to dust before their eyes. The air grew warmer, and the oppressive feeling lifted. As the last of the spirits vanished, the hostel seemed to sigh as if relieved of its burden. The lights stabilized, and an eerie calm settled over the building. Kabir, Umesh, and Archana stood in silence, the reality of what they had just witnessed sinking in. It's over, Kabir said softly, looking around the now peaceful hostel. The curse is lifted. They left the hostel, the first rays of dawn breaking over the horizon. The once ominous building now seemed just like any other adventure, devoid of its terror. Kabir knew that while the spirits had found peace, the memory of what happened there would remain with him forever. Together, they vowed to ensure that the tragedy of Victoria Hostel was never forgotten, and that no one else would suffer the same fate.